I spent 4 months writing my own Rust web framework. Routing, templating, server-sent events, the whole thing by hand. Then Tokio released Topcoat, and it does about 80% of that boilerplate for free. In this video, I will show you what Topcoat actually is, what it would have saved me, and, this is the honest part, what I would still build by hand anyway. If you have ever wondered whether Rust is finally ready for full-stack web development, stay with me. Because the answer is not what the hype says. So what is Topcoat? It is a modular, batteries-included Rust framework for building full-stack applications, and it lives under the Tokio organization. First published in April this year. MIT licensed. And the pitch is simple. Write your markup, your logic, and your database queries in one place on the server instead of juggling a separate API layer, a client framework, and a build step. One quick reality check before we go deeper. This is early stage and experimental. The README literally says, expect breaking changes. And it needs Rust 1.95, which is newer than a lot of production toolchains. I will come back to why that matters. But the core idea is genuinely different. Let me show you what I mean. Topcoat renders everything on the server. Your components are async functions that can query the database directly. No fetch calls, no JSON serialization ceremony, no separate API project. Here is the part I found clever. Interactivity does not have to cost a round trip. A $parent expression in their view macro is ordinary, type-checked Rust. Topcoat evaluates it on the server for the first render and then translates it to JavaScript, so it reruns instantly in the browser. No WebAssembly bundle, no client build step. You write one language and it runs in both places. And when an update genuinely needs the server, like fresh search results, you mark a component as a shard. Topcoat re-renders just that component on the server whenever its arguments change and swaps the new HTML in place. Let me make that concrete. A component is just an async function that returns a view. Inside it, you write a $parent expression, an ordinary type-checked Rust closure, and Topcoat translates it to JavaScript for you. A buttons click handler reruns in the browser with 0 round trips. When you do need the server, you wrap the expensive part in a shard. The search box is a signal, an input event, and one shard that queries your database, then swaps in fresh results. So the whole architecture is server-side async components, a $parent for client interactivity, a shard when you need real data. No client framework, no JSON API, no build step, so you get reactive, database-driven pages with the mental model of server, rendered pages with the mental model of server rendered HTML. Now, this is where it gets personal. I built the dashboard for my own project TubeForge by hand. I wrote it on raw Hyper with no framework on top. Just an HTML templating layer, server, sent events for live updates, and a WebSocket JSON RPC channel. That is months of work, and it is exactly the category of boilerplate Topcoat bundles in. Out of the box, Topcoat gives you module-based routing that infers your root tree from your folder structure, a view macro with real Rust control flow inside your HTML, an asset bundler that hashes and caches your files, built-in Tailwind with no node, sessions, cookies, and a component library you can copy and edit. For a greenfield project, the time saved is enormous. You go from plumbing to product in days instead of weeks. That is the honest upside, and it is real. Hand-rolling meant building 6 separate systems, with Topcoat, routing, templating, and assets are defaults. The honest comparison is several weeks of plumbing versus a day of configuration. Let me be specific about what impressed me most. The module-based routing is genuinely nice. Your folder tree becomes your URL tree. Layouts just work, and there is no build step to keep in sync. The view macro keeps HTML looking like HTML while letting you write Rust control flow directly inside it. The asset story is also well thought out. You declare an asset in Rust and the bundler copies it, hashes the file name, and serves it with aggressive browser caching. Fonts and icons are first class. And the Tailwind integration is node-free for a Rust-only project that removes an entire toolchain from your life. Here is the part nobody in the first look videos tells you. I would still hand roll in 3 situations. First, maturity. Topcoat is pre 1.0 and the maintainers promise breaking changes. If you are building something you will still be maintaining in 2 years, you are signing up for migration churn. Pin carefully and expect to reread the changelog. Second, a bespoke protocol. My dashboard needed a custom WebSocket JSON RPC channel and a standard input-output bridge, so AI agents could talk to it directly. No framework is going to hand you that. When your interface is the product, you own it. Enter the minimum viable tool case. If you just need one local, single user page, my exact situation, a hand-ruled 35 server can be simpler than adopting a whole framework. The framework shines at scale and team productivity, not necessarily at the smallest possible footprint. So, is Rust finally ready for full stack web? Here is my honest verdict. Adopt Topcoat now. If you have a greenfield product, you accept that it is experimental and you are okay with a 1.95 toolchain and breaking changes. For a brand new side project, the productivity gain is worth the churn. Wait or stay hand-rolled. If your app is long-lived, if you depend on custom protocols, or if your footprint is so small that a framework is overhead, the frameworks are catching up. Topcoat is the most interesting Rust full stack framework I have seen this year, and it is only 4 months old. Watch it. But decide with your project's real constraints, not the hype. Now, the one critical piece we did not cover in this video is memory. How does Rust run an entire web stack with no garbage collector? Without that model, your mental picture stays incomplete. So click the full video on your screen why Rust has no garbage collector. It closes this gap step by step. Hit subscribe so the next deep dive reaches you.